Looked like it was a teeny bit delayed.
Are you there?
Welcome,
Yeah.
everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy 2023.
Yes.
Woo!
Yay.
Yay. Happy 2023.
So, as we closed out that last year, we talked about predictions for 2023. So, we thought today would be a good day to talk about kind of how things are going in the workforce, future of work, trends that we're seeing, and how we can avoid certain things that we might see going forward. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think that there's any trends. I think there's nothing that's going to change. No, I'm just kidding. Because everything changed like multiple times last year, like 26 times. Just when you thought something was the way it was different 26 times.
Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, I think that a lot of the HR folks that we're talking to basically are tired, and they're just you know kind of almost fed up with all of the changes that are happening.
Changes.
There
That's
we
right.
go.
That's
There
right.
we go. That was what I was looking for.
Yeah. And yeah, no, lots of challenges with the continuous change that they're having, especially over the last 18 24 months, and last year was even was crazy too. So yes, I mean, yeah, a couple of things that we're thinking about
Well, and we wrote an
go
article
ahead.
on this.
Yeah, we did. We wrote an article on it.
It's
Exactly.
on HR Dive, and it's called Tracking
Hey.
the Convergence of Trends That Will Follow HR into 2023.
There we go.
Yep, exactly. So we've got some ideas and thoughts, and I mean, I think a big one for us really is going to be around transparency and compensation. And organizations are very, very, you know, have a hard time sharing comp data, market data with their employees, and I think that's all changing. I mean, forward-thinking organizations. I think we, saw an article in the Wall Street Journal, yesterday that talked about, you know, when somebody gets hired, they get 3 or 4 choices on how they want to be paid, how much
Yeah,
base
there was
pay,
there was a
how
Wall
much
Street
equity.
Journal article yesterday that talked
Mhm.
about how people are now, companies are now letting people decide how they get paid. So if you want to have like 50-50 in terms of equity and base pay, you could do that. If you want to have 100% in base pay and no equity, you can do that. So there's all these different ways that you can split things up now. So people are definitely understanding more how pay works. Like I don't know about pay transparency because I don't even look at what I pay myself. So I don't even know. I just cover my eyes when I need to do that. No, but really, pay transparency is a big one.
No, exactly. It's huge. And then the other one that's really going to be challenging is with organizations reducing staff, kind of figuring out what exactly their headcount needs to be.
Mhm.
I think a lot of organizations are really focused a lot more on understanding the teams that they have internally
Right.
and looking internally to fill positions before they go to the outside market.
Mhm.
So developing employees, finding people that have great skills that can be transferable into other groups and letting them go into those roles and develop. So I think there's going to be a lot of more focus on, it's not about just having all the cash to go out and hire people whenever you want to. Now it's going to be about, you know, how do you make it work with the folks that you've got and
Right.
providing development for those individuals.
Yeah, and the two others are that we've talked about are how to work and care for elderly parents, and then
Mhm.
elderly parents if you have kids. That's really taking up a lot of steam, picking up steam right now in terms of how people are going to do that and how companies support employees as they try to care for their parents, and especially as parents start to move towards their end of life journey, how do companies help support that and make the children feel like they did as much as they can to help support their parents as they move that direction. And then the other one that's super huge is deglobalization. So for 20 years we talked about the world was flat and globalization and things moving out of the US, and after COVID and all the supply chain issues, now we're having this migration of things back into the US. So how do we do that? How do we hire the people that can do chip manufacturing? How do we hire the people that can manufacture pharmaceuticals and make pharmaceuticals, and how do we find those people, and how do we train people and educate people? And that's going to be another source of need for skilled workers. And how do we handle deglobalization as things come back?
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
around that deglobalization, the even it's going to be a huge issue, and as some of these states and cities throughout the U.S. start to build these new factories, giant chip factories, in the middle of nowhere, with how do you bring talent in
Right.
to actually do the work?
Yeah,
A
because
lot
that's
of
definitely not a remote job.
Yeah, exactly. You can't
Yeah.
you can't run a fab, remotely. There got to be
Yeah.
people in there, and these are highly technical roles.
Hmm.
For the last thing you want to do is screw up your chips that you send to
Yeah.
customers, and so really, how do you attract talent into those markets, uh, and then get them hired, trained, and productive quickly, because that's going to be the key in this whole deglobalization. It's not only in chip manufacturing, it is also in car manufacturing, with all of the technology that's going into, especially battery operated, or electric vehicles. Those are all brand new technologies, brand new needs, across the U.S.
Hmm.
And it's going to be really, really important, for folks to think about that, and have a good plan in place to get that done.
And you
Hmm.
know what another one is, which is really humorous to me, is crypto. I mean, we started the year talking about like crypto on fire,
Yeah.
and it was like, I'm in the burning ring of fire, Johnny
Yeah.
Cash. And now we ended the year talking about wah, wah, wah. What happens when somebody comes in and creates a Ponzi scheme around crypto? How does crypto
Hmm.
get more
Yeah.
disciplined? How does crypto not look like, a third rate used car dealer in,
Right.
what they're trying to achieve. So, um, wow, like 10 months of it, crypto just like changed dramatically, but we're still talking about it because it still has a
Yeah.
future
Yeah.
and it's still there and it's still going to be important. But it did flag the need to continue to develop strong, policies and processes around crypto, which we've been talking about. And then it reemphasized, good government in terms of a company, good guidance, good policies, good processes, and internal controls. Which
Hmm.
we always seem to go through these periods where somebody does something poorly and investors suffer. Bernie Madoff, WorldCom, FTX, whatever it
Hmm.
is. And we go back and realizing that all these controls that we do have and all these things that we do to look out for what's going on internally in the company are really good. So we're back to that. But crypto was the stimulus for all of those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing how we've gone from, you know, crypto being, like Jason said, on fire, to now, everybody's talking about the crypto winter,
Is
and
that,
what does
hold
that
on, is
mean?
that the new catchphrase? Hold on, wait, is that the
Yep,
one?
crypto
Crypto
winter,
winter. Okay. All
Will
right.
Washington cross the crypto winter in his boat?
exactly. Yeah, with a small number of people from the Bahamas.
Yeah,
Um,
there you
Yeah.
go.
so yeah, so I think that's going to be the new one, but I think it's a huge one, and then the other one that we think is going to be a continual challenge, is really going to be remote work. I mean, we've talked about remote work, for 24 months, um, and now you're starting to see, organizations try to force employees back into the office.
Hmm.
Employees are not happy about it. Uh, I don't think they're letting organizations know that, verbally, but they're going to let organizations know that with their, by deciding where they want to work.
Right.
And that's going to be a tough one. I mean, there's a lot of chatter out there around. I can't believe they're making me come back into the office when I've been, productive and doing a great job,
Right.
over the last 24 months, and now I've got to find pants that fit.
Well, with right pants that are not yoga pants.
That's right.
Um,
That's right.
I've got
Stretchy
yoga
pants.
pants on right now. I'm
Stretchy
wearing
pants.
yoga
You know,
pants.
where's my stretchy pants?
There's been a lot of chatter as well about the erosion of social skills since everyone's been working from home.
Shut up.
You kind of only have to be like
I don't
on
want to hear
for
that.
your
I don't
Zoom
want to talk to you.
calls.
I'm just going to text you.
And how you really only have to be sociable for your Zoom calls, and then you can kind of go back into your cave for the rest of the day, right?
Do you know how bad it has become? I'll tell you how
What?
bad it's become.
Oh
There's
no!
a
What?
woman there's a woman out there. And I've got to dig out the article. But there's a woman out there who is making $500 an hour. And what she does is she coaches millennials on how to talk on the phone.
Jason and Ray, I have a business opportunity for you. If there's anybody who can talk and teach people to talk, it's me.
Yeah, there you go.
She literally has talked because they're afraid because they're not getting job interviews because they can't talk on the phone, and so she's because they're scared to talk on the phone. So parents are hiring this woman to help them figure out how to talk on the phone.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Wow!
Yeah. It all goes to communication, man. It's all about
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, when
And if
you're
you're
in
afraid to
law
talk
firm-
on the phone, seriously, I'm not making fun of you. Well, a little bit, but if you're afraid to talk on the phone, I can help you with that. So, and I won't even charge you $500 an hour.
Exactly.
I mean, there's actual social anxiety. I saw a TikTok or whatever, and it was a guy who was comparing, generations or ages, and he walked through the room, and as if he were his kid, and he said, like, the oldest, middle, youngest. He goes, "Hey, buddy, time for you to do the dishes." He's like, "Okay." And then the next kid comes in. He goes, "But Dad, there's only a couple dishes in the sink. Can I do it later?" And he kind of argues with him a little and go, "Okay." The younger one comes in and he goes, "Okay, bud, time to do the dishes." He goes, "I have so many things going on, and you want me to put 2 dishes in the dishwasher."
Oh my God, that's so accurate. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. But another thing about going back into the office is it's not just speaking with individuals one-on-one like you do on the phone. You have to present oftentimes. You have to, go to larger meetings and you have to present in front of groups. And it's that confidence that so many people are lacking in social speaking and, being out around people.
Well, there was another article. I'm sorry, I'm like the article king. Over a break, I read a lot over a break, and so there was another article that came out in the Wall Street Journal. And although you say it's important to speak and you say it's important to be able to present, the article in the Wall Street Journal was all about like people don't want to get ahead, so they're not interested in it.
Really?
So the article was about they can't find enough people who are interested in being high performers to get ahead, to take managerial jobs, director jobs, doing those kinds of things. So when they come to people and they say, "Hey, we'd like for you to, be
present
or do this or do
run
that,
the meeting,
get
whatever,
this experience," they're like, "Yeah, I don't want to do it. It's too much work, and I just like getting my money and going home at 5." And literally, they just don't have enough people that are looking to get ahead and be high performers. It's not happening anymore.
Yeah, and it all goes back to that work-life balance, because folks have seen what their parents have had to go through, to get ahead, and the children are saying, "Well, that may not want to." I mean, not want to do that.
Down to the VA, man. He said, "Son, don't you understand?" Kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a real challenge with folks, wanting to put in that extra effort because they don't think it's going to be worth the additional pay, promotions, whatever. So it's tough.
So how do we overcome that particular issue as employers, managers?
I think a lot of it's going to be based on making sure that you've got good hiring practices in place, so you're bringing in the right kind of people with the right type of attitude and enthusiasm.
You got to be a good place to work. You got to be a place that values work-life balance.
Yep.
as a company and as a management team, you've got to be a company that doesn't stretch people super thin. So they're like, oh great, you're going to promote me to something, and not only do I have 2 jobs to do, I'm going to have now 3.5 jobs to do, and I'm not interested in 4, and I'm not interested in doing that. So I think you have to create a really good company with a really good culture and values and performance evaluation and pay raises and equity, and really create stakes in the organization. And I think if you have a great company, people are going to want to get ahead and be part of it. If you have a mediocre company to a poorly managed company, sure, people are going to be like, I'm not being part of that, and I'm just going to go home. I want to go play Warcraft or whatever they play.
Exactly. And it really is. I think that, like Jason said, it's got to be the right culture, and then you also have to make sure you're rewarding people appropriately, and giving them what they need. Not only time off, to recharge and spend time with the family, but also the right kinds of rewards.
Yeah, and what we also talked about the article in HR Dive is the evolution of corporate leadership, and one of the things that we've been saying is, and one of the things that VCs and private equity and other people that are investing in businesses is that, in the past, we said, okay, we have an entrepreneur who has a really great idea, and he's really smart, and he has all these technical skills, and we're going to invest in him. And he really stinks at interpersonal skills. He stinks at sales. He stinks at all these other things, and he's like really a horrible leader. But we stake a bunch of money in him, and he runs a company, and potentially that and you have to deal with all of the things that happen with somebody who's not a great leader. And so what we're saying, and what all those people are saying, is we're not doing that anymore. Like, if you are going to invest in a company, the person needs to be a well-rounded leader who's really going to invest in people, invest in the product, invest in creating a good culture. The hoodie wearing CEO who's just kind of a jerk, not going to fly anymore. You have to be a really well-rounded, crafted leader. And that goes back to, people will want to get ahead and do more when they have good leadership around them.
Yep. Nope, exactly.
And leadership training is the key as well, right? We talked about that a lot last year, at the end of last year.
Yeah, I think you're right. Leadership training and and helping leaders understand, that their old approaches to managing, 15 people in an office that all of them sit outside their door is not the environment we're in today. I mean, now you may have 5 people in the office sometime, 5 people that are there all the time, and the other 5 are fully remote. So there's different approaches to engage those individuals on a regular basis and lead them and provide development opportunities and what's ending up happening now is a lot of leaders are focused on what they can see, who they can touch, and then people that are remote or hybrid are getting kind of left behind, and that just can't happen going forward.
Well, one of the other things that's happening, which I think is a really cool thing, is that 15, 20 years ago, it was all about leaders were homogenized, and you had to act a certain way, you had to talk a certain way. Executive presence was a big thing. You had to bring executive presence in a certain way. So there was this, I think, desire to have leaders in a cookie cutter type of approach. And I know that when I was at Cisco and they would talk to me about, getting to become a VP, they would say things like, you're a little bit too empathetic to the employees. You listen a little bit too much. You care a little bit too much. You sometimes, we want you to be really formal and really structured. And sometimes you're a little bit more open, and we don't want you to do that. And so there was a sort of a fairly significant amount of criticism I got from those that were above me, but those that were below me, like, oh my God, we really like working for you. It really works for us. And so that was, I think, a style, I'm not tooting my horn, that was probably a little bit ahead of its time. But now even Cisco is saying, oh yeah, we want leaders, but come as you are, come as your authentic self, because we're finding that people who are authentic leaders lead better and drive better business results. And so I think all of that cookie cutter approach is changing. So now we have to focus on, driving leadership skills, but not making everybody the same type of leader and appreciating those things that make them different, which I think is really exciting in leadership development. It really is bringing our whole selves to work, and that may be different from, somebody who works, down the cubicle aisle from you, who's also a VP. So that's really something new that's happening, and I think that's really exciting for leadership development and something that we're a part of.
And different people respond well to different types of personalities. So I think it also makes a difference in employee retention, just having people, giving somebody an option, like mom's going to say no, but dad's going to say yes kind of a thing. It sort of gives us as workers somewhere else to, focus our energy, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think leaders have got to be a lot more flexible, and we need to be able to adapt to the situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're going to be coaches, sometimes they're going to be, developers of talent. Other times they have to provide, harsh feedback. And you've got to, know when to do that in the right timing and the right place. And
the right approach.
Yeah, and the right approach.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the things that are going to be critical for the future.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think people who are more authentic are able to, respond in an authentic way that works within their personal system.
We've been talking a lot about hiring. I've been reading a lot about hiring, and how the hiring market, I think, is changing a little bit more. It used to be, we expect you to have, this many years experience in this role before we bring you on. And now I've been reading a lot about how how the market is really more diversified, and they're looking for different types of skills to fill roles, maybe not having experience, building that particular cog, right? But experience that you bring to the table from your life experience and your other things that you've done.
I keep seeing that in articles, but I don't see that
in real life
happening in reality. We have a fairly robust, TA, part of our business, hiring and talent acquisition, and everyone that we talk to that has an opening, it's very prescriptive in what they want. So I hear this, but I don't know where that's happening. I'm just being really honest. I haven't seen it.
Do you think that's happening more like on the sales side of things, like on the BD side of the world, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it may be happening, for roles that are really tough to find, kind of frontline workers, customer service roles. I mean, where you're really, having to kind of expand your, your search. But for the roles that we're seeing, like Jason said, for a software developer or for a
VP of marketing,
VP of marketing or DevOps, a DevOps engineer, they're still, organizations are still looking for very, very finite skill sets that, to be able to do those roles. And, and they're still being picky, and candidates are still demanding premium prices. So, there may be more people in the market, but those people are getting, getting gobbled up quickly, by smaller firms, mid-sized firms, a lot of, government, state and government agencies are loving this because, they're able to attract some of those candidates that were at the tech companies before. Because they're in the market. So there's a lot of an interesting movement happening in the job market, but it's still a very competitive market.
Well,
you gotta move quickly.
I'm going to be a broken record. Another thing that I read in the Wall Street Journal.
He loves that Wall Street Journal.
I know. I mean, but they have great things. Like I read, I have subscriptions to so many magazines and newspapers and things, but in Harvard Business Review. So next week I'll do some Harvard Business Review things. But
next week the show's sponsored by.
That's right. Wall Street Journal. If you'd like to interview me and do one of those, I've always had a dream of having one of those charcoal picture sketches of me that they do when you're in the Wall Street Journal. So if you want to, Wall Street Journal, if you want to have me do something and you want to do a picture, I'd be, oh my God, that would be like a dream come true. That's a bucket list for me.
Yeah.
But what they said is that the article talked about how people are still having a significant amount of offers. Like, for instance, they said that when somebody changed a job last year, when jobs were still plentiful, they had 5 jobs waiting for them. Now they're saying that the average person, when they get laid off, has 2.5 to 3 jobs waiting for them when they get let go. So
that's still pretty good.
it's still pretty good. I mean,
It really is.
Better
yeah.
than 0.
Yeah. Better than 0 in 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
better than 0, 6 months, and hey, where's my EDD
Yeah.
payment?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. And I think that another article that Jason forwarded is just from the journal was just around accountants and how there's a huge lack
that one
of
too. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
just reading about that.
yeah 300,000 openings for accountants and they can't get filled by
Well,
the top the top 4
they're starting to go
consulting
to
firms.
universities to find them before they even hit the workforce.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's not even working because they don't want to do public accounting anymore
Yeah.
because they come in and they say you're going to have to work 80, 90 hours. You're going to have to be available at holidays when we do year-end close and all this stuff. And they're saying, nope, I'm not doing it. And
not interested.
not interested. And then what they're finding out is, well, I could do accounting or I could take this finance degree that I have or whatever it is, and I could go do data analysis or I can work someplace easier. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting year from a labor perspective, and we think employers are going to have to become a lot more flexible, creative in finding talent, and that's kind of what we're doing right now with some of the openings that we're working on, trying to find those really tough to fill roles, and finding the right kind of people that can step in quickly.
Well, and luckily, Thrive HR Consulting, they've got their button on their finger on the pulse of the Wall Street Journal trending articles. So,
you say that, but it's very funny because I don't know. I'll just say this. I mean, I think when you have a good relationship with your significant other, your significant other pretty much tells you the truth about things, whether you want to hear it or not. And so I was talking to my wife the other day and she said, you guys really know what's going on. Like you guys really have an insight into what's happening in the market. She's like, I'm just shocked at how much you're in the know in this industry. And I'm like, wow, my wife said it. I mean, that was like, I don't know, Dave Ulrich at the University of Michigan saying it to me, like, whoa.
And she said, now pick up your socks.
That's right.
There was some other pithy, criticism after that, but it was, hey, I'll take it where I can get it.
That's right. You got to take it where you can get it. So true.
Sure. Well, it is true. I'm learning things. I've learned so much about your industry in the past few years, more than I ever thought I even wanted to know or needed
to know.
Yeah.
No, cared to know. No. But you guys really are. And that's why you're being approached so often to contribute, write articles and speak at functions. And I mean, I've seen so much growth with you in this company.
Well,
we've been trying. Yeah, thanks. We appreciate that. We really do. I mean, we love the industry. We love what we're doing, and really enjoy helping our customers solve problems. And that's our passion. So
we enjoy helping employees as well too, because Ray and I have also we've been management and we've been officers and companies and things. We've also just been rank and file employees, and for us, that's really important. Is to make things better for rank and file employees, the people that show up every day and do the work, to make sure that you're in a happy and positive environment. There's just nothing worse than coming into a job that you detest. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we really want to focus on helping organizations be employers of choice, where people want to be there. They're recognized, they're paid well, and they're engaged. Because that's how organizations really drive profits and drive customer satisfaction.
Mhm.
Is those happy employees?
Yeah, there was a friend of mine. I talked to him yesterday, and he was at a company that I was at, who will remain nameless, and he was there for like 4 years. I like lasted a year, and to me, it was really difficult. And he, when I talked to him, and he just left, and he told me how difficult it was for him. I just could not understand how he could survive there for 4 years. So sometimes you just, people will hang in and hang in and hang in,
Mhm.
despite the environment just not being, what they want it to be. And to me, that's really unfortunate because, you have a finite time on this planet, and we should at least have a job that's, you can stand and enjoy and be a
Yeah.
part of.
Absolutely. Well, you've got to find those redeeming qualities. I think that what your experience, both you and Ray and the other folks within the company, within Thrive HR, um, what you bring to the table when you meet with a client, when you talk with your clients, when you help your clients with their projects, I think that this kind of passion that you have for helping people and making the workplace better comes across. And I think that is really a testament to your success. So, my two
Well,
Yeah,
cents.
appreciate
all
that.
things we
Yeah,
tried.
thank you. We try hard,
So
and
2023 is going to be a great year for us, right?
exactly,
We have
we're
a
looking
lot
Yeah,
in the
forward to it.
pipeline.
yes. I think that, one of the things Ray and I have talked a lot about, and I talked to another company about yesterday was, excuse me, I think people are actually, and I don't know what the macroeconomic situation is going to be in 2023. There's a lot of things still being bantered around about whether it's going to be good or bad, but I've just found things to be a little bit stronger than they were last year at this time. Last year we had such a quiet period because I literally think everybody in the United States had COVID. And so there wasn't a lot going on because we were in that kind of COVID craziness. So there's definitely more things happening than there were in the first part of 23 than there were in the first part of 2022. So I look forward to a good year, and hopefully things continue to move forward well.
Nope, exactly. We're looking forward to 23. We really are really happy and very, very blessed with the team that we have. Because we think we've got a great, top tier talent to help organizations, and we're very, very bullish on 23.
Yeah, and our team has grown so much this past year. It's
I
been great.
know it's crazy, it's just not crazy. I mean, they're not crazy. I mean, they're great. It's just amazing how much the team has grown. Hey, we
Yep.
have a Slack channel now, and so
Yes,
if
I was
you're
going to
interested,
ask you about that.
yeah. So we're creating a Slack community. So if you're interested in joining our Slack community, just send me your email and I will add you to our Slack community. So it's just a way that if you have questions or you want to talk to people in HR or in business and you have a question, you can just go on to the Slack chat and we will go ahead and respond, and hopefully you'll get some information and some fellowship and some community. So just send me your email, however you want to do. If you need to LinkedIn Messenger,
Yeah.
or you want to email me, and I'll add you, and you can be in the Slack community, totally free.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So it's Jason at
Thrive HR Consulting. You can be real super simple. Just send me your email and tell me that you want to be in our Slack community.
Yep. Exactly. And if you want to track me down, it's Ray, REY at the thrivehrconsulting.com.
And you can email him too, and he'll put
Yeah.
you in the Slack community.
and he'll
Exactly.
say, "Hey, Jason, put them in the Slack community."
Probably.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's fine.
Okay, guys. Well, have a great rest of your day, rest of your week. Welcome to 2023. Exciting things ahead.
And Taylor Swift concert is when again?
It's in April, and
April.
my daughter is already talking about how we have to get there early.
Tailgating for Taylor.
Limo.
And I may have purchased her several more Taylor Swift t-shirts, concert shirts, and sweatshirts. So
There
when
you
you
go.
see my daughter, she does have other clothing, but she only wears Taylor. So just throwing it out.
It's
awesome.
good to be a
That's
Swiftie.
awesome. That's right.
It's good to be a Swiftie. It's expensive to be a Swiftie's mom, but it's good to be a Swiftie. She got a hamster this week, by the way. She named it.
Oh,
What
Her,
was
her
the name?
choices in names were T Swizzle,
Haha.
Taylor Swift, or Karma, which is my daughter's favorite song on the new album. So
There you go.
this animal's called Karma. So I walk through the house and talk about Karma, and my husband's like, "What are you talking about?" He thinks I'm talking about the actual notion of karma and not the actual hamster of karma. So
There you go. There you go.
we just never want to hear that the cat got karma. We never want to hear
No,
that.
no,
That never wants to
no.
happen. No,
Or
no,
the
no.
dog got karma.
is there an over under on the life expectancy of the hamster?
Well, our last hamster lived longer than it should have. It lived almost 3 years, and they only live apparently 2 years.
That's
so
impressive.
Yeah,
we're
that
pretty
is.
good. We're knock on wood. We're fairly good at keeping hearts beating in this house. So
That's
Good. Good.
I
That's awesome.
like that.
we had an abundance of guppies when we lived in Scotland. So many that we had to sort of give them away as feeder fish.
That's called
Because
bait.
apparently animals love each other when they're in our home and like to make lots more of themselves.
There you
So
go.
we had lots of guppies in Scotland.
That's awesome.
So, and on that note,
On that,
go
animal
forth
kingdom,
and be prosperous.
have a great year. We'll talk next
Have a
week.
wonderful day.
We'll talk
guys.
next week.
later.
Take care.
Okay,
See ya.
bye, everybody. See you next
Bye-bye.
week. Thanks a lot.